The geophysical map has several unique layers as well. You'll see in your layer list here other things come up such as spot elevations, our 4-foot contours. You look down here, we'll see wetlands, sinkholes, cave locations, the FEMA floodplain, and then we also have our prime farmland, soil suitability, and our karst drastic index. So like the other maps, you zoom in, more things go on and off. So we'll zoom in to an area that has some topographic relief to it. I'll let some things draw. This map goes a little slower than I would like, but it's got a lot of good information on that. So here we see a cave location that is already drawn in. Let some of this other stuff populate as we go. Here you see a cemetery, and I believe we can click on that cemetery and get the information about that. Mostly it's locational information. So looking at the information, again, you have to scroll in far enough when you're in an area for things to, I guess, activate or turn on. So you see our sinkhole locations, our wetland locations, those types of things all come on as you zoom in. When you zoom in close enough, the spot elevation and contours become active. You can click those on, see them draw in. Those obviously handy information. They label, self-label. They're off by default as it's a lot of information for the data process. So again, trying to make these maps speedy as they can be to get to the information you want to see. Looking on down, let's see the wetlands. Those are active. Again, you can click by that. You can see the wetlands are I guess white polygons. The sinkholes are these areas here, I guess kind of a gray color or brown color. The cave locations, again, I think we saw one over here just a minute ago. This information again takes a minute to draw, but there you see a possible cave location. Other layers that we have that are unique to this are again the prime farmland. So you can click that and it will give you information. Zooming it draws in. We got to zoom in a level for it to become active, but you can see that prime farmland again. It's prime farmland of statewide importance, and prime farmland if not flooded are the three categories. It's what we use to determine whether prime farmland exists in rezoning applications. Soil suitability, likewise, it's soil suitability for septic percolation, somewhat limited and very limited, which you'll notice a lot of the county falls into that category. I'll let that redraw for here just a second. And then the karst drastic index, if you're familiar with using that layer, it's pretty much the entire county is in a high level of karst susceptibility. So those numbers, it's basically just increasing in the more likely areas that you'll find a karst environment. And you can see most of the county and most of the areas that are being developed are in a high karst area. So all that information is on our geophysical web map. One tool that is kind of neat, we'll go just to a random part of the county here, let it populate and draw, and let's say we're interested in this area here. We want to go from here to here. You can use our profile elevation widget or tool. You can click that. Once it initializes, we'll move it down over here out of the way. Let's close our layer list. and we'll draw. So we'll just take this tool here, we'll do it in feet, and then we'll start here up here, and then we'll just finish right here, 3,000 feet of distance. May have should have used the miles, but that's okay. We'll let that draw, and you will get an elevation profile of from here to here, and as you move along the graph, you can see as you traverse what those feet, what the distance in feet is in elevation. So we see we've got about 272 feet of elevation difference as you can go down into the Barren River floodplain and then down to the river channel itself and then back up the other side of the bluff. So you can just do that. It's kind of a neat little tool. So that pretty much concludes the unique features of the Geophysical Base Map. Again, same tools, legends, all of that. General navigation, you'll need to go to the general navigation tutorial video to see that information. One last thing, I think I did not show the FEMA floodplain, but that is on here and will populate if you zoom in close enough. Again, it's quite a large data set, so it takes a bit for it to draw. But once you get that activated, then you will see a red layer coming in indicating that 100-year floodplain boundary. There, so you can see that floodplain is drawn in, and then of course you get really crazy, you can turn it all on, but I would not suggest this unless you just really need to see it. It typically takes a whole lot of time to draw this information in. We're working on ways to speed this up. So there you go. But that is the information in the Geophysical Base Map. Please ask us if you have any questions.